What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Dad Does Videos. Today we're going to be installing these 2-inch faux wood white blinds. They are 34 inches wide by 64 inches long, and they are the Home Decorators brand, commonly found at the Home Depot. All right, now here is the window where we are going to hang our blinds. Now, one thing you need to do before you even go to the store to purchase your blinds is to measure the space available so your blinds that you purchase fit. And the way that you do that is you simply measure the width and the length of your casing. When I say casing, it's basically the space available where your blinds are going to fit. From the top of the casing all the way to the bottom of the casing, and then from the left side of the casing all the way to the right side of the casing. My width is 34 inches. My length is about 62 inches. If you'll recall, I bought blinds that are 34 by 64. So I'll have a couple inches at the bottom to spare, and then it's a perfect fit basically from the width perspective. The funny part is, and keep this in mind when you're shopping, even though I purchased 34-inch blinds, the actual measurement on those is going to be a ½ inch shorter. I still don't understand why they do that, but knowing that allows you to purchase the right size blinds. Now, if you don't see the right size for your space in your window, just ask an associate at the hardware store where you're shopping. They can cut them to size. All right, here's a quick peek of what is inside the box, and not surprisingly, most of it is made up of the actual blinds. We've got the valance here on top, as you can see, some directions, and our wand that will allow us to open and close the blinds. And then of course we have our box of hardware. One thing I failed to mention earlier, you can mount your blinds outside of your window casing. When I say outside, that means we would actually mount them right where our curtain rod is, and they would kind of hang over top of the window casing, so to speak. I don't like that, and I want to install my blinds on the inside of our window casing. I would say, and I don't have any scientific proof on this, a majority of people mount their blinds on the inside. So that's what we are going to do in this video. All right, so the first thing we are going to do is install some end caps on the top and bottom of our blind. So on the top, you could see this curved part right here. You're gonna get this piece. This is the end cap, and you're just gonna slide that right in with, again, this curved part kind of matching this part as well. It should just pop right in. You might have to finagle it a little bit, but just like that. Slides right in. And you're gonna do the same thing on the other side of your top of the blinds. And then on the bottom, as you can see right here, we've got a little hole. We're just gonna slide this end cap on, and it doesn't matter which way you have these. There's no right or wrong for the left or the right, top, bottom. They just slide right in. Slide it in, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, so the next thing we are going to do is install our Valance clips. There are 2 of these, and they simply hang right off the top of your blinds. A lot of people don't like the look of the Valance, this piece right here that will basically fit over top of your blinds. It's a nice decorative cover. We like those, so we are going to make sure we install the actual clips to hold the Valance on. Now, when you do these, this little piece right here slides right over top of this ridge on top of your blinds. Now, when you put these on, make sure each one is on the outside of the contraption on each side of the top of your blind. So you can see this right here. We want to make sure we install this to the right of that contraption. And again, you just make sure the top of your blinds just slides right in between these two plastic pieces, right in there. That's the slot. So just kind of do that. And that's what yours should look like. We're going to put the other one on the other side too. All right, so we are looking up at the top of our casing right here, and that's because this next step is going to be all about installing our brackets. These are the pieces that hold our blinds in place. If you bought a model like mine that's 64 inches wide, maybe it's a little bit less, you're going to have 2 brackets. If you bought something that's longer, you might have 3 or 4 brackets. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about installing your brackets. First off, the longer side of your bracket is going to go up against the top of your casing. So hopefully you can see this side is longer than this side right there. So this side's going to go up. And for our purposes, just because we only have 2 of these, we are going to install 1 each on the corners of our casing where the top meets the sides. So in theory, one would go here and one would go on the other side of our casing. As you can see, like this. If you have 3 or 4, you are going to want to measure and space them equidistantly apart across your casing. And it appears somebody at Home Decorators was thinking, because one of the challenges of doing these things is putting up the bracket like this and then getting a pencil and marking where you need to drill your pilot holes or your screws if you choose to do that, and it's kind of a pain. But I'm not sure if this is going to come through. As you can see, there's this little piece of paper right here, and underneath there, when you take it off, is this sticky substance. So the point of that is that this bracket actually is going to stick where you place this to get ready to mount. Just push it in place, as you can see, like that. And then all you have to do is drill your holes in the relevant spots, and you don't even have to move your bracket. So we're going to put the other one up on the other side, and we are going to drill some pilot holes in here as well. So technically in the directions, they don't ask you to drill pilot holes. Personally, I like drilling pilot holes. It makes the actual drilling of the screws that much easier. So we are going to get a 7/64 drill bit and drill pilot holes right where these 2 circles are, right here and right here. Okay, now that you've got those pilot holes drilled, or in case you didn't do that, you can now screw in your screws. Now, we have 2 different sizes of screws that came with the product. You have one that's 1 1/4 inches, like so, and then you have one that's 3/4 inches. You want to use the one that's longer. So get this one, or actually you need 2 of them, and then simply screw those in to the holes that you made right here, or if you haven't made those, just simply drill those in to the holes on the bracket. All right, so once you get those brackets installed, they should look like this on the left side, and then on the other side, guess what? It should look the same. And of course, if you have more, those would have gone up along the top of your casing, evenly spread out to support the weight of the blinds. So this next part is when we are going to hang our blinds onto those brackets. Now this is a little tricky how you have to do this. Basically, we want this kind of little lip up here, right up top here, to fit inside the top outer part of the brackets that you just hung. Which means that little lip that we just talked about has to slide right in here on each of the brackets. So we have to kind of gently tilt our blinds so that we can get that little lip in there, and then we're just going to push up on the back So it slides into place right here, and then this contraption right here will hold the back in place. Kind of weird thing here, but just as a reminder, before we go forward with that next part, there are going to be some little pieces of cardboard inside your blinds. Just remove those before you start to hang this thing. I don't think there's a great way to film this, so hopefully I can get a decent shot of this and you could see me kind of slide this in at a 45-degree angle, and this lip right here will catch on the top of these brackets, and then we'll push the bottom up. But I'm not sure how well this is going to translate to video. So here we go. That in, tilting. Gotta get both sides. Okay, so we've got both sides in the lip. And now we just have to push the back up, the back front, where you can see my hand flapping. We're just going to push up, and we should hear a click. There we go. And miraculously, our blinds are holding. So just to show you kind of what happens, as you can see, here's our lip, went right in there on the top of the bracket, and then, of course, on the other side as well. Now, some people like to let the blinds down before they hang them. I like to have them all in one piece. It's just easier for me to control. And I guess we haven't talked about it yet, but these are cordless blinds, so all you have to do is pull down on them. So whether you do this prior to hanging them or after you're hanging them, all you do is pull down gently on the base here, and they'll just go all the way down. All right, so let's talk about our wand now, because we want to be able to open and close our blinds. We have the top of this wand. We are just going to lightly push that in to this hole right here, where we will hear a click eventually, and that will let you know that it is installed. Heard the click? Let's test the functionalities. You can see my blinds are opening and closing. And really the last step here is just putting our valance on right here. You can see this narrow gap here that goes the length of the valance. What you need to do is kind of squeeze the clips that you've already installed right here and right here into this narrow space. This is sometimes a little bit challenging, I'd say, and there's no up or down on this. You just install it any way that you want, because guess what? It's the same either way. But you are going to end up with this valance right on top like that. I have found the easiest way to do this is to kind of feel when these clips hit that narrow part and push. And you might need to play with the clips in the back to get them installed correctly. But if you simply push the opening in the balance on the back on those clips, they will go in. Just be gentle. Home Decorators does include these two plastic pieces for each side of the bottom of your blinds. What you can do is install one on that side and then on the other side. And what it will do is hold the base of your blinds in place. I don't like that look, so I'm not going to do it. And if you do purchase this, you can just simply follow the directions that are provided with the product to do that. All right, so that's about it, everybody. I'm really happy with these blinds. Hopefully this video helped you.